on a laser cutter, and I've got the CAD model open again in Allegret, and I've prepared a drawing which I'll open that has all of the laser cut parts, and I just have to navigate to it. So I'm loading the drawing that contains all the laser cut parts, all the blue parts, which I've laid out to fit within an 18 by 24 inch layout, which is a convenient size of plastic to buy. We buy it's designed to use 3/16 inch thick plastic, acrylic. So here's the layout. This is the bottom plate and the top plate, the arm blades, etc. And so we've already prepared that, and this can be easily updated if you modify any of the plates. And then we will export this in the DXF format. So we've saved that in DXF format. Now I'm going to switch to a different computer. I've actually already transferred the same DXF to this other computer here. And we have a Corel Draw on this computer where I've loaded up that DXF. So this is in Corel Draw, and this computer has been set up with a printer driver for the laser cutter machine, which we'll show in a minute. And so I've loaded up that DXF. Again, it's an 18 by 24 layout. I hope I'm remembering that correctly. Is it 18 by 24 or 12 by 24? We'll check the number. And then what I have to do is I have to tell it to cut in a red color. So I think that, let's see. And that tells it to cut all the way through. And then I just say print. And I have to tell it to print to the printer driver that's associated with the laser cutter. And if I click properties at this stage, I can set the that it's going to be cutting acrylic plastic, and the thickness is about 0.18 inches. Say OK, and print. And then this is now a different program. This is the console for the laser cutter itself, and it's received that print job, and it's ready for me to turn the laser cutter on. Initializing. Okay, and so now we have to put the plastic in the laser cutter and calibrate and clean the lens, and then we'll be ready to cut. Okay, so this is the laser cutter. It's turned on, and it's waiting for me to calibrate it now. So I can open it up, and you can see there is a red laser beam there, but that's not actually the cutting beam. That's a calibration beam, so there's nothing dangerous here now. And I can open this up. And the first thing I'll do is I'll check the lenses, see if they're dirty in them. The mirror here. That looks quite clean. And here. Also looks quite clean. So, set it back. Here's our acrylic. It's 12 by 24. Lay that in the machine. It's actually designed, I intended it to be this way because the bed size of this machine is also that size. Get it kind of lined up. It looks like I'm going to have to lower the bed a little bit, which I can just do manually here. And now I have to calibrate the height of the laser above the plastic. Right? So the machine is able to cut things at different thicknesses. So there's this calibration tool. And I'm using the controls on the computer to manually just put the beam over the plastic. I'll take this calibration tool here, and this lets me set the height. Good. So that's the correct height of the beam above the top surface of the plastic. Shut the lid. And we're basically ready to start cutting now, so I'll just say go over here. And we've started cutting. You can see that's the actual cutting laser. There are two air systems active now. There's a pressurized air, which is blowing at the point where the cutting is happening, and that's helping to evacuate some of the fumes. And then there's a fume extraction system running with a vacuum that's pulling those fumes through a filter. Again, we're cutting acrylic here, which is one of the types of plastics that you can cut without producing extremely toxic fumes. Some other types of plastic you don't want to cut in this way because the fumes are quite toxic. So this takes about 20 minutes on this machine, if I remember correctly, to cut. And again, this is going to cut all of the parts for one OHMM robot, all out of one sheet of acrylic, with a little bit to spare in case you wanted to add something. And again, it's this sheet is, I believe, 12 by 24, and it's scaled to fit this type of laser cutting machine, or of course any larger machine. And if you have a smaller machine, you'll just have to build in a few separate cutting passes. Okay, so the laser cutter is finished now, and so I'm just going to open the lid, and you see that it's left, of course, leaves all the parts in place, and so we basically just have to piece all this out and slowly lift things out. Start by lifting out the surround and just get rid of that, and then so for each of these parts, basically, you have to poke out all the little interior bits, and sometimes we'll take a little tool or something and poke those out. And then, I'm not going to do all of these right now, and then you have to peel each part. Let's get this one started here. Take off the protective paper. It's a little bit tedious. And other side. Poke out more of these bits. This part that I have in my hand is actually the shelf piece for the mast, on which you can now connect and other types of things. So that's the shelf. And so we'll do the rest of the parts just like that.